Well, it is time for another episode of the Fireside Tales with Indigo. I am Side Indigo. It's been a couple of weeks since we were able to broadcast the last time, and I am very excited to get going again. Sometimes things just happen, and we gotta take time off every once in a while. So, the last time we played, there was indeed a confrontation of sorts. Right towards the end of where we left off, we had done some wheeling and dealing. They turned in the various prizes they had collected throughout the time spent in the Sunless Citadel, and they were able to get some pretty tasty rewards as a result. Definitely was a lot of fun to play through that episode a couple of weeks ago, and definitely looking forward to getting on towards the next one here. So that being said, right at the end of the last episode, Gok had retired to his quarters in an attempt to just take a moment to commune with his lady and see what the truth of the matter was in little scenarios here. But right behind him, this high elf, kind of haughty high elf, as it were, kind of stormed into the room behind him, and without a moment's hesitation, asked him a question. Bordi, what was that question?
What happened to Alistar?
And I'll say again, what happened to who exactly?
Indigo, I think the recording is playing back. Is anyone else hearing that?
Yeah, you have to mute your
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
Twitch.
Little goblin creature, the mage known as Alistar Jinx. Do you know what happened to him?
No, if you're talking about the robe that I'm wearing, because I know you said that earlier, I found it, I found it. I mean, it looked better than what I was originally wearing, but I picked it up, and I think since he wasn't using it, or I didn't see the owner, then I just kinda.
Hey, boss, why you just letting her question you like that?
So you're telling me he's dead?
She's just a little kind of rude, I think. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he could have also been streaking somewhere,
I mean,
and
could just
then
blast
just
her.
drop. Look,
What if he just blasted her just like right in the face, boss?
I'm not gonna kill her right now. There's like a bajillion people downstairs. I'm pretty sure they know it wouldn't be. They always assume.
Little creature, I don't think you could kill me if you tried.
What? How did you hear me whispering the whole time?
You're very loud.
Are you sure it's not because you can hear me because your ears? I just kind of assume.
I'm gonna actually smack him. Like a slap across the face.
Okay.
You can try while I
Go ahead and roll to hit, and then Gok roll if you would like to roll that acrobatics with disadvantage. You're totally not expecting this.
Okay.
Would it be dexterity or strength?
Go ahead and choose at your leisure. Ooh. Wow.
Well.
All right. So you see this hand coming just at the last second, and you kind of just instinctively, because you're used to the witch queen kind of lashing out at you and punishing you for your impudence almost constantly. And so you're used to these sudden assailments, we'll say. And so you just instinctively like hunt your head down into your shoulders as the slack comes, and it kind of just like flumps your hat just kind of right off the top of your head as your hat kind of lands on the ground next to you.
Okay, so I've been able to gain the ability to reflexively dodge stuff because I've gotten my daily beatings every day by my patron.
Pretty much.
Sounds
Even with
awesome.
disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay. And she knocked my hat off. What you're saying?
This
Okay.
is frustrating news.
Uh-huh.
I guess I'll leave you to your own.
Okay.
As you guys are talking here, and after this attempted strike, both of you go ahead and roll perception checks.
Okay.
Okay. So, Doc, you're pretty much like in the moment, like this elf just tried to slap you, and you're kind of, a little bit furious about this and a little bit shocked and surprised as well. Mara, you just kind of suddenly see this event happening at the same time as Jot does. And you suddenly see this shadow start looming up across the wall behind Gok and to the side a little bit. And you see it as it's rising up across the wall. You see this clawed hand start to kind of reach out and stretch out from the main body and start arcing across the wall. And you suddenly hear Jot say, boss, watch out! It's trying to kill you!
What? What's trying to kill me? I have my
You
back.
look over and you see this shadow kind of stretch across the wall, and you see this long clawed hand starting to reach out.
Oh. That thing. Are you the thing? I tried to, do I recognize as the creepy shadow that was in the dungeon a while ago?
It is a shadow on the wall. It's kind of formless at the moment. You can't see any kind of a defined shape. You just kind of see, a vaguely humanoid kind of display along the wall, and then kind of a almost formless arm with these clawed hand sticking out of it. And suddenly you see it start to move its hand, and Jot actually flies over and kind of like lands on the wall next to this creature and kind of disperses this shadow-like form into like a bunch of little pieces as it kind of splatters across the wall. And you see it just kind of like racing around the wall for a second. And Jot says, boss, quick, blast it, it's trying to kill you.
What? Is it?
Look, as he says that, I'll cast. 1 second. To pull up that spell. Oh, actually, yeah. Does this thing look? Before I'm trying to determine. Does this thing look solid or like semi-solid or just totally not there?
No, it definitely seems like it's just literally a shadow kind of racing across the wall.
I'll try and cast Chill Touch then.
Okay. You're able to kind of like get your hand to the wall, and where your hand touches on the wall, you see the shadows kind of race away from it, just in time as you see like this kind of spread of frost, kind of like, almost like a snowflake would, just kind of erupts across the walls.
Wait a minute. Can I make an intelligence roll right now?
Go ahead.
Okay.
What were you trying to determine? With
I mean, I was gonna make it a 5, so a 7's okay. Would've been really bad. I was trying to see if I recognize this, because I was trying to summon something. And this could be the something. Because it seems weird that there'd be a shadow that would have attacked us
Okay.
right now. I know.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
I will roll.
And roll it with advantage. Okay. So you are... You know, you've been around this little creature for a while now. And you know he's not always kind of on the up and up with the words he says. And you feel like he may not be entirely truthful about this situation.
Oh, little demon guy hasn't been truthful with me again? What a surprise. Ed? Wait! Don't attack it anymore. I think I summoned this.
What do you mean, boss? I mean, you know, it's obviously, you know, just, what happened with this thing? You know, it's over here just trying to, like, you know, just raise its claws at you and stuff. Obviously, it's trying to kill you, you know?
I mean,
I'm
it
gonna
could
do
have
a
also been
stage
trying.
hand and have the hand like cover up the demon's mouth.
Okay. He's like,
Thank you.
We're saying
Well, I was trying to summon this creature because I felt I needed a little bit more help, considering that my supposed employee just tried to lie to everybody. So I kind of think we need a replacement. Or, well, let's say not a replacement. How about another coworker? Yeah, that works.
I'm gonna
shush.
dismiss the hand.
okay. So what do? You see this form starting to kind of coalesce itself on the wall.
I'm gonna outstretch my right hand and say, "Hello, my fellow employee. My name is Gok, and I have summoned you into my service. Let us shake hands to be friendly amongst each other and amicable." And I'll outstretch my right hand.
Okay.
Shake it.
You see it like all these little tendrils start to kind of coalesce in the corner. And you see this kind of, this movement as a bit of it starts to form into the shape of this kind of flumpy hat. And as it kind of separates itself even more, you kind of recognize some of your own features on this shadow as it almost seems to timidly kind of step away from this collected mass of shadow being cast by the candle across the room. And you see it slowly start reaching one arm out, and suddenly you see this shadow like disconnect from the wall, and you see almost like this ghost-like, almost half-formed shadowy hand reach out and just touch you on the end of one of your fingers.
Oh my god. I knew Brasnic was full of BS. You were on vacation. Oh, my shadow. You're back. Oh, I knew you were just on vacation. The shadow fell. I knew it. I knew it. I'm gonna rub Brasnic's nose in this so much.
You lost your shadow?
And as Mara speaks,
oh,
you see
yeah.
it actually withdraw the hand just a little bit, and you see it suddenly, the fingers turn into these wicked claws, and it kind of points at Mara.
What, her? Oh, yeah, she tried to kill you like 2 minutes ago. I guess.
You almost feel this presence now, like this connection with this creature, and you feel like this very strong sense of protection, like it wants to protect you from this person.
Well, actually, you kind of need a name, don't you? You're kind of like your own person. I mean, I know you're my shadow, but you want to be named anything? Oh, shut up! I'm talking to my shadow here. Now, anyway, do you want to be named anything? Just kind of, I don't know, do whatever it is for a yes. Like, shake your tendrils around.
You see the hand kind of withdraw back into the wall and become as a normal shadow again, and you see the form of Gok's head kind of like shift a little bit, and then it shifts back again, and then you see it just kind of nod its head kind of vigorously.
Okay. You do want to be called something. Let's see, what would be a good name? What about... What about... Jackdaw! Jackdaw was the name of my little... I want to say direwolf? Could have also just been a really, really ugly dog, but I loved him. I loved him to death. I mean... does Jackdaw sound good to you? Just raise your head up or down with me. Shadowy.
You see
Just
it
do
kind
the
of just pausing for a second, and then it shakes its head.
Okay, perfect. Jackdaw the Shadow.
You see it shake its head negative, like no.
No. Oh, okay. No, you don't want that. Look, you're still on thin ice, okay? They got it. They got me in trouble, and everybody else. And look, you just have to taste the magic hand, or talk to the hand. Yeah. Darling.
Okay.
Okay. What about Jack? Just Jack. That sounds good, right?
You see it instantly start just nodding its head affirmative at you.
Okay, Jack. We'll remove the daw part and just have Jack. That's fine. It's a shortened version. Okay, so well, now I can formally introduce you. I'm gonna talk back to the freaking elf who's still here right now.
I'm gonna be incredibly fascinated by this whole interaction because I've never seen anything quite like it. Never seen a shadow detached from a person or a shadow be able to communicate with a person. So I'm like studying you like someone studies like an interesting lab result or almost like a book in a that you've like someone's been like trying to find for a bit and there's like some text in it you're like looking for something like that where I don't see you as like living but more as like a test subject or something.
So you see me as a thing, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Duly noted.
Yeah, duly noted. Sure. Yeah. So Mara, I think that was your name. This is Jack. No, you shut up. You aren't even supposed to be here right now. Shut up! That's it. Alright. Jack, I know we'll be fine, because he's not on thin ice. He came back from vacation, from the Shadowfell. I know he can't really talk about what he did there, but I'm pretty sure he did something great. I don't know. Hung out with, I want to say purple elves? Purple elves live there. I forgot what they're called. It's like a D word. I don't know. Whatever. But, yeah. So, Mara, this is Jack. Jack, this is Mara. I lost my shadow and to another shadow who nearly absorbed, I don't know what. I think my soul? Don't know what.
Interesting.
Mhm.
You're a fascinating little creature, aren't you?
Of course, I'm the great and glorious Gok. master of magic, and evidently with a sentient shadow. Just gonna wave my hand.
Well, after hearing Sentient Shadow, I'm gonna like take a 5-step foot back and say, I guess you don't know anything about what happened, so I'm going to
Wait,
leave.
Okay, fine,
And what are you
whatever.
doing with that mage hand spell?
It dissipates when I'm 30 feet away, so.
Okay. As it dissipates, you said,
Yeah, I thought you'd never leave. Yeah, so what are we gonna do now, boss?
What do you mean right now? I mean, I think we're going to go on another job to gain some precious shinies. And now there's two employees now. There's you and there's Jack, and this will be great.
So,
But you gotta make it up to me.
So
and,
you're like good for me to like stick around and stuff, even though
and he kind of like looks over at your shadow across the wall.
he says, look about that, okay? So like I'm stuck in this freaking dungeon for like 5,000 years, okay? I'm like cursed over here, you know. They say, oh, go and serve the old dragon priest. He's super powerful, yeah. You know, it's gonna be this great assignment, yeah. Well, he dipped his toes in something he shouldn't have been, messing around with over here, and yeah. So I got stuck in this place, yeah, for like 5,000 freaking years over here. So I just kind of wanted to get out of there.
Oh, what you're telling me is you want to leave then?
Well,
Eh,
I mean, the curse is broken now, so I had to like, once the door was open, then I had to like, just be like, kind of catch a ride on somebody on the way out through the old portal over there.
So what you're telling me is you were like a flea to a dog, and I was the dog who helped you get out of your predicament, and now you're going to find a new host to just feed off of like a tick. Is that what you're telling me right now?
I mean that's a little bit rude. I mean that I wouldn't really say it like that and like all of that over here, but I mean, I was just gonna, see if maybe I could just kind of hang out with you for a while, because you guys kind of find a lot of nice little shiny trinkets. I thought maybe I might be able to, pick up something over here. Just make my life a little bit fancy. Now, I've been stuck down there for a long time.
Yeah, well, I know you say that, but the reason I use the flea analogy is because you literally tried to steal stuff without giving much back in return. I would have given it to you fine, but I'm just saying, you kind of took everything for everybody, and you embarrassed me. How does that look for your boss?
Well, I mean, I didn't really like take from you guys. I was like, it was just over there, like where the troll was sleeping, and I just kind of like took it out of his little spot. So I mean, it's not like I just took it from you guys. I guess I just didn't really tell you about it. But I mean, if you let me stay in your service, and like anything I find in the futures, like I'll make sure I tell you all about that stuff, and I could be like a good scout for yous.
Okay. If you don't embarrass me again in front of the entire rest of the group, okay?
Yeah, boss.
I'll let you keep a portion of it, just not all of it. And you're going to tell us what you got this time, okay? Okay.
Yeah. You got it, boss.
Okay, perfect. Now, I don't know. Do you have a place to sleep or something? And just go back to the I don't know what to call it. The fairylands or the pixie place or sparkle territory. Oh god, that's making me sick just talking about it.
Yeah. Like, how'd you get roped in with all this spay business anyway? Like, what's the real deal? Like, I mean, I was only really able to like even kind of, like fool you a little bit, just because, like, I mean, well, to be honest, boss, you kind of talk in your sleep. And I heard you talking about this little witch queen over here, and I thought it was like just kind of a good way to kind of just get your services over here. You know, I apologize about that, boss. I didn't mean to like be all tricksy.
Wait, I'm gonna roll an intelligence check to see if God can realize what's happening.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Does that mean... does that mean you're not with my patron? Is what you're telling me right now?
No, you know, I just kind of, you know, I mean, you know, you talk in your sleeves a little bit over here, you know, so I just thought it'd be just kind of a good way to just kind of, you know, getting your services and, yeah.
Yeah, but I established that she's like a giant fairy kind of woman who can turn into something horrifying, and you're a demon, which I tried to get a patronage with, but then I picked the wrong thing. And
Oh man, yeah,
still
if you
take
would have got
backsies
yourself
on
a
that.
demon lord or something like that, oh man, all of the prizes you would have got, oh man, they rained the riches down on they warlocks. Yeah, you never want to get yourself a fey patron, you know, cause they all kinds of wackadoo, boss. What I mean, I don't even know why you wanted to do that over here, you know, but you know, you just got to deal with the hand you've been dealt now, boss.
Okay, yeah, thank you for reminding me about my terrible life choices. No, look. So, are you with her or not? Because you just sound like you heard what I was saying in my sleep, and then you just kind of gleamed onto me. Is that what's happening right now?
I mean, yeah, boss, I guess that's the nuts and the bolts of it. You know, I like to choose my words a little bit differently over here, but, you know, I mean, I think, you know, you got it all figured out, boss.
Okay. At least if you're being honest this time.
I'd never lie to you, boss.
Look, you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to me, okay? It's the only thing. You can lie to everybody else, but we're straight with each other.
You see him actually stop at this, and he kind of looks at you for a second, and just pauses for a second. He says,
Yeah, you got it, boss.
Uh-huh. Gonna insight check right now. Say if he's
okay.
freaking lying to me. Again?
Yeah, he actually seems to be being truthful with you right now. He seems to be curious and intrigued by this goblin.
Okay. I'll just tell him to find a place to sleep and, you know, just kick back and... Oh, wait a minute. I gotta... Wait, I'll tell him this. Hey. I need you to cook this, and I'm gonna take out that hobgoblin arm. I've had the whole freaking time. Yeah, I need you to cook that, and maybe add some of these mushrooms as a garnish. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have those. Jeez. Okay. I don't know. Just find something to spice up that arm. I was going to give it as an offering to my patron later, and you know I can't carry a whole hobgoblin, so I'm just gonna have to do with the arm right now, and just you know, spice it up, and then when you're finished with it, just bring it back to me, and you know I'll put in a good word to my patron for you.
Okay. So he kind of like looks at it for a second, looks over at you, and then looks back at the arm, and he's like,
Yeah, I'm gonna like this job.
and you see him kind of disappear, and the arm disappears as well. And like a minute later or so, all of a sudden, downstairs and kind of distantly, you hear this, "Oh my God, what is that?" Why don't you do that, and you hear this loud commotion coming from the kitchen area.
Okay, that was not. Do it stealthily. Jesus. Okay, I think on that note, let's see what everybody else is doing.
Okay.
Here.
Mara, where were you headed to? Were you going back downstairs?
Yeah, I head back downstairs.
Okay, so All right. So you start heading back downstairs. Once you get down there, you see that things have definitely quieted down. It seems like a lot of people, it's getting later in the night, a lot of the folks have left. And it seems to just kind of be the end of the evening, despite the commotion in the kitchen as that happens. Those of you that are down here do see, Bella kind of like storms out of the kitchen and up to Tobias and seems to be kind of having a heated conversation with Tobias. And you kind of hear Raznia yelling at Chef Snoot in the kitchen, and then you can hear Jock, but you can't hear what he's saying. But it actually sounds like Chef Snoot is talking to him about recipe options for this hobgoblin arm, and Raznia seems to be very against this thing being cooked or even being in her kitchen.
I'm gonna tell the rest of the adventurers who are still down here, though will be joining. I'm going back to my house. I will meet you guys up. I'll meet you guys tomorrow. What time do you expect, or what time of day do you expect to be ready to leave or get together your stuff?
I'll be up early tomorrow. I got a lot of foraging work to do before we head.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be a lot on your plate. So it's probably actually going to be, a couple of days helping with all of this. So there's going to be kind of a time lapse thing there. At the end of this session today, basically, you guys are going to have the new magic items, those ones that are being foraged, and then we'll be diving into Kumrakar.
Well, I will meet with everyone tomorrow, and I just start walking out the door, or going to the door.
Okay. So as you go by, you kind of see this guy up against the bar here, and he kind of, as you're walking out the door, you see him turn around, and he's got a bunch of mugs of ale in his hands. He's got 4 of them, and you see him turn around and start walking across the bar. Seems to be heading towards the table over here. And those of you that are still here see this guy kind of walk up, and he sets some drinks down. He says, "Hello there, gents."
Hello. Is one of those mine?
I brought one for each of you.
I don't hesitate. I just grab it and start chugging it.
Oh, that's what I like to see.
That better be a fire grog.
We can make sure one of those comes out too. They call me Del Mia.
I am Grybek Ironboard. It's good to meet you.
Yin, what brings you to our table?
Well, saw myself another cleric over here. It's kind of always nice to see a fellow brother of the cloth. Thought I'd bring him and his friends a nice brew. Couldn't help but overhear some of the conversation you were having earlier with that broker fella.
Yeah, don't pay attention to that guy.
That's exactly the opposite of what I was going to tell you. That's one to watch. He's not like other men, that's for sure.
I feared he'd be one to watch since he took that evil artifact.
Well, in a way, He is an honorable man. All he cares about is money. He is a man of the deal. But that also puts him in some pretty shitty circles. Also puts him in a situation that I always want to tell you the whole story. And he kind of looks over at Red Tool as he says this. He says, he didn't tell you everything that's going on in that old mine. And looks around at the party. He says,
Well, then you can enlighten us.
perhaps.
Oh, worry about what?
Well, there's a bit more living there than perhaps he told you. There was this monster army that was forming a while back. Not too long ago. Great force, hobgoblins, orcs, goblins, trolls, all of the like. Heard there were even some ogres. So me and my friends, we went and we attacked their little mine. Tried to drive him out of there, but they were dug in there pretty deep. We managed to break it pretty hard. I think he told you about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And Ratul, you obviously remember your clan and the fight that kind of spread your clan to the wind. And you remember this group of not even a very big company. There couldn't have been more than 10 of them, but they were very powerful heroes that came in and started attacking this monster army that you were a part of, and definitely put a huge dent in their forces and drove them back into the mountain. And being on the fringes of this army with your clan, you guys were more of raiders. You kind of kept to more of your orcish roots as a part of this monster's army. But you guys were definitely a powerful band of orcs and almost acted more like shock troops and scouts and things of that nature. But your own tribe was definitely affected by this battle as well.
I remember the battle. I was not part of it, but I saw the destruction.
Well, I would have to apologize for any harm we might have caused you, but you know how it is in the heat of the fight. And especially, and he kind of pauses for a second as he's kind of like looking at you. He says, I've been kind of watching you, of course. Always gotta watch the big orc in the room. You seem to have some honor about you, not like the rest of your kind.
Yeah, he's a good sort. Can't hold his drink too well as I pat Ratul on the shoulder real quick.
I will break your hand.
Oh, I mean, if you're as successful as you were with that drink, I don't think I got too much to worry about.
Ouch.
I'd like to start trying to squeeze Yin Yang's hand.
You have to catch me first.
Alright, roll those acrobatics checks.
Oh, well, you just might.
Very quickly, the giant orc, who is definitely much, much quicker than his size would lend you to think, he just quickly snaps up his hand and just grabs you right by the wrist with one of his thumbs pressed right into your palm.
Oh, come on now. Don't be that sour. Wasn't too that big of a jest.
I squeeze a little harder just to get a point across.
Okay. And as you're just getting the point across, you suddenly see Raznia come walking over with a tray full of fiery grogs. You see her kind of come to the end of the table here, and as she sets the grogs down in front of her, all four of them, she like pulls this long kind of tinder with this weird substance on the end of it and runs it along the end of the table, and you see it whoosh, burst into flame as she lights each of these fiery grogs and slides them across the table at each of the four of you.
Let's keep it all nice here. This one's on the house, boyos.
Thank
How's
you.
it go, Yin Yang?
Okay. So, who would like to take this fiery grog challenge?
I'll grab my drink and gun it down, staring Ratul in the eye.
Grabbing mine and drinking mine down too.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch them and then I'm gonna slam mine.
Just fine.
Delmir is also going to accept this challenge. Okay. So, Yin Yang, yes, again, this is your third fiery grog for the evening, so you're definitely starting to feel the effects of this very powerful substance. Ratul, oh wait, you've already had two, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh no.
This is all of our thirds.
Oh my god, poetic justice.
Okay. So you start again. You actually, you did roll a 10, so that's pretty close. You're raising the cup to your mouth, and you take a big, long sniff of this drink as it's coming to your mouth, and you just instantly, as you just like set the cup down, before it even touches your lips, you set the cup down and kind of look up at Grybek.
Don't look at me. Drink the drink.
What'd I tell you?
Across the way, you see Delmir go, as he grabs it and he starts drinking it down. He's like, and he kind of like coughs right into his drink as it kind of sputters all over him. And he kind of sets the cup down. Yeah, I kind of deserve that.
I kind of give a cheers to Grybek, considering he's the only one at the table that held his own with me.
It's
That's
true.
That's three straight I've held my own.
16. So a 14 was what you needed on that one. So you guys are definitely both feeling the effects of these at this point. Not quite completely drunk yet, but definitely on your way there.
Good old dwarf stomach.
You do. You do have a very hardy dwarf constitution, and that is definitely coming into play here. Did you want to try and make another attempt at that fiery grog in front of you there, Ratul?
Yes, I would like to try again.
All right. As you take a deep breath, as you steel yourself for the attempt, you can. You do indeed take that deep breath, and you kind of settle yourself, and you just almost angrily just start drinking this thing, and you force it all the way down, slam your cup on the table.
And then I just go, and a little billow of fire comes out.
Nice. Okay. So after that, Delmir again kind of laughs out. Well done then, all of you. I just wanted to let you know that you might be facing, opposition a little bit stronger in there than perhaps that old broker was telling you.
Thank you for the information.
Never really know what information is half the truth and none of the truth at all. With that one.
Yeah, well, whatever we run into, I'll just punch it in the face and shoot it in the wall with my wind.
Indeed. It was quite the interesting tale you told. Powers like that are rare.
Tail? I want a tail. It happened.
He was referring to the tale that Brasnic told, using the illusion magic along to the song from Aaron. And he described your adventures through the Sunless Citadel, he definitely was not leaving out the dramatic finish with your newfound abilities on the troll.
Oh, no doubt. I'm just feeling the drink, so I'm playing with it.
Okay. So he just kind of sits there for a second and kind of finishes off the beer that he had brought over and leaving the rest of the fiery grog to kind of putter out on the table. He says, "Well then, just wanted to let you know what you might be up against. There was still the head of the army. We never quite cracked the mountain itself. We meant to go back, but things come up and we had other business to attend to. But
Well, we appreciate the information.
seems like perhaps it's in good hands, yeah. Just be careful. We did hear some rumors about what lie below the mountain. What I heard about this wormling that you fought when you were down there. What did you think of that one? Right nasty beasties, aren't they?
The orc wrestled it.
Yeah. He pinned it to the ground right now.
Sounded like he was wrestling everything in there. Not like to be on the wrong end of that one, oi. As he stands up, he kind of cheers you guys with the rest of his beer. Says, "Keep your eyes out when you're in there. That monster army's in there. There's something at the head of it. It's got to be a right nasty beast." He kind of drains the rest of his beer. You see him kind of stalk towards the front door. Makes his way out.
He was a nice guy, but I'm pretty sure we'll beat whatever we come across, right?
We will liberate that dwarven mind.
So definitely some news there as far as perhaps that your days of dealing with this monstrous army that you're a part of are not over at all. Same with Gok, who is also a part of this monstrous army, but in a much more familiar way. So, some information perhaps to be passed along the party members there. As the door... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Before I left, I was actually going to talk with Glug.
Okay. Go ahead.
Basically the entire conversation. I was just talking with him because he was a part of he was studying arcane, right? He was a wizard student or an apprentice.
He is indeed.
I was gonna maybe talk to him about some of the opportunities if he joined the guild and if he's do like the rounds of like a someone who's trying to help out an apprentice but also trying to get them under their on their side, potentially like how a professor will pick their favorite grad students and such.
Okay. So as you approach him, you see he's kind of got this book open, and he's just kind of sitting back up against the wall. And as you approach, he just kind of as he closes the book. "Good evening. Can I help you?"
Good evening, Glug. I see you're keeping up with your studies.
Yes, well, it does tend to grow tedious in here at times. Is there something I can help you with, my dear?
Have you given any thought to joining the guild?
Well, yes, of course. My duties here with Tobias do keep me, quite well taken care of, and he provides for my needs. I have, of course, considered going there for perhaps some higher learning, a little bit of instruction. What did you have in mind, Miss Bordi?
We can always provide for your needs. We have definitely the coin, and I do say so myself, the talent, and we're always looking for more more individuals who appreciate the amount of time and effort it takes to manipulate the weave. So I would be willing to help you and sponsor you to join if you're willing.
Yes, well, but then who would keep out the ruffians? And as he says this, he kind of leans towards you, and you see his big orcish teeth kind of sticking out with this big, huge, toothy grin.
Well, there are those who are not as talented as you who could easily do that, and you, my friend, would be wasting your time spending the rest of your life here and not pursuing the deeper arcane.
Perhaps. Well, of course, consider your request. As I said, Tobias does keep me quite comfortable. And, well, it is sort of fun at times as well. As he says this, you suddenly hear the door of the establishment open. And you hear this tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. And you see this old man step in to the tap. And as he takes a step, you see him tap, tap, tap with this cane on the ground as he takes a step. Kind of takes another kind of lumbering step. Almost looks a little bit weakened as if from a long journey. And he slowly makes his way over to the bar. And with each step, you hear tap, tap, tap of his long cane. He finally makes his way up to the front, and you see Tobias just kind of watching him as he approaches.
Oh, well then. It's the old man. Would you like a fiery grog this evening?
And you see the cowled hood kind of come up, and you see this long flowing white beard as this old man looks up at Tobias.
Oh, no. I'll just be having a regular ale, thank you.
As you see him kind of settle into a stool, a few moments later, you hear the door open again. And you see these 4 individuals walk in to the bar. And you see them kind of walk in with this swagger about them. Definitely very full of confidence. As they kind of walk in, you see like this guy kind of bump up against this patron here, up against the back of his chair. And you see the patron start to turn around and complain, and this guy just kind of looks at him with a sneer, and almost in a very kind of threatening way, and you see the patron immediately just kind of like just stop talking and turn around and sit back down, bury his face back into his brew. As you see these others kind of start fanning their way through this bar. You see this big, giant man kind of stop and look at you, Mara, in a very appraising and leering sort of a way. And he just kind of just gives you a very, very nasty and ugly look as he kind of walks further into the bar as well.
Can I kind of sneakily cast prestidigitation to soil some of his clothing a little bit to make him a little like to make him feel like as it like not to like visibly soil it, but to like make it like on the inside so it like feels damp or like wet. To like make him feel uncomfortable, like physically uncomfortable.
Okay. Go ahead and roll stealth.
Health or sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand. Might work just great. Okay. So you cast the prestidigitation, and you see him kind of stop walking, and you see him like kind of like shake his lower portions a little bit. You see him kind of like standing. He like gets this awkward look on his face, and you see him like kind of shake his leg a little bit. And as he looks down, you see him kind of like look over at you out of the side of his eye, and he kind of like notices your hand as it's kind of going back down towards your side. He goes, "Ugh, what the bloody hell, witch?"
Watch who you're calling a witch. My wand like snaps to my hand.
Okay. You see them instantly put their hands on their weapons as they're looking at you. You hear it as the stool kind of shoves aside. You see Gugla kind of stand up behind you. Are we to have a problem then?
We better not. And I'm gonna lower my arm. Again.
There's to be no weapons. There's to be no powers. No spells. None of the sort. Drink your beers and shut up. He seems to be very irritated. You see him sit back down on his stool, picks up his book. Will that be it then, Miss Bordi?
Yes. And I'm gonna like move a little bit around these people. I'm gonna hang out right outside the door.
Okay.
But I'm gonna keep an eye on them because I did not like that guy.
And you actually see him kind of like looking at this one female that's with their party. And you see her kind of like watching you the whole way. And as you're walking out the door, you see her look to him and then look to the others. And she seems to just kind of look back to the one that had talked to you and the one that you cast the spell on. And she just kind of like gives him a little nod. And then she turns and starts walking further into the bar, as these guys do as well. But you see this guy, well, you're outside, but this guy does turn, starts walking out the door. So, as you get, you kind of stop outside the door, and suddenly you hear the door creak back open again, and you see him stand out. And you could tell he wasn't expecting you to kind of still be standing there. He had definitely assumed that you would have walked on. And he kind of stopped short a little bit upon seeing you as he steps out all the way and closes the door behind him. Waiting for me then, were you, love?
If you want to fight, then I can kill you if you'd like. But you have one chance to redeem yourself. Apologize, or I will kill you.
Well, if you want to fight before, that's just fine with me. And he looks again at you in a very lewd and ugly sort of a way. Go ahead and grab your token and roll initiative.
How much of what is going on do we see or hear from the table?
You guys have definitely seen this interaction. There is a bit of a din over the few people that are left in there, but you heard enough to kind of get the idea of what happened inside the bar, and then you saw this guy walk out behind your new partner.
Just to cut in real quick. Does this happen inside the bar or outside the bar?
This all happened inside the bar on the bottom floor, and then just outside the door on the bottom floor.
So it's not far enough for me to see outside my window, right?
No, not quite yet.
Okay, never mind. No, I ain't don't do nothing yet. I'm waiting.
Okay. Welcome to the evening, sir. So, You do see these other guys kind of walking through the room. Everybody roll perception checks.
Including me?
No, you're upstairs still counting your money.
Good. Well, I'm counting my money and standing by the window.
Yeah, and Gok, you would not be rolling for this as well. Just Grybek, Ratul, and Yin Yang.
No, I'm having a nice nap right now, so I mean, you guys do what you want to do right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling that drink.
You, Grybek, notice this guy here. As he's kind of walking past, he also bumps into this patron. But you see him actually kind of very quickly and suddenly pull a knife off of his belt, and he seems to cut towards the man's belt as he keeps walking past him. Very, very easily, very quickly done. You see him walk over towards this table.
I want to chuck a beer mug at him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Alright. So I just roll a d20.
I would say a dexterity, yeah.
The mug, this with the thrown weapon, it can be strength.
Okay. Yeah, strength or dex is usually.
Just because it's a mug, it's not actually a dexterous thing to throw.
Okay. So you huck this mug across the bar towards this guy as it misses clearly and it shatters across the wall. You see him immediately stand up and look over towards you. You see both of these guys over here immediately again put their hands on weapons and start taking steps in that direction. And this guy says,
Hey, you got a problem, dwarf?
Return the man's coin purse.
What? Are you calling me a thief?
Yes, I am.
you see him kind of looks over and he just kind of nods, like gives the head nod towards your party. And you see these people immediately start heading in your direction.
All right, I've had enough of this. Let's cut these guys.
Everybody go ahead and grab your tokens and roll initiative.
If I wasn't a thief dwarf, you make me so proud of being a dwarf, Grybek.
Yes.
We had a long rest, right?
Not yet.
No, we stayed up all night so far.
It's true. So you see this guy immediately. And they do seem to have different weapons for flavor, but they're all going to be rolling maces. But he does start charging across the way here. Interesting. He's not going to get that far, so... he is actually going to charge up towards Yin Yang.
Sorry.
So ignore that path there. He's not going to be able to get to Grybek, but he can get to Yin Yang as he runs up towards you. Were you still... is still in your seat?
I just saw Grybek throw a mug. I was just laughing. I didn't do anything.
As you're laughing, this guy, you see him give the head nod, and he just runs up as you see him. He pulls out this mace and he swings it right at you as you're sitting there. Oof. Connects solidly with you as you're just sitting there, just minding your own business and laughing at this mug being thrown at this dude. And he hits you solidly right in the shoulder for 8 points of damage with his mace. You immediately hear from across the bar,
Oh, well, bloody hell.
so you see Goglug get up off of his stool.
Oh, you've done it now, boy.
Okay. At 18, you see this other guy immediately double time across the bar. And he just rushes right up at you, Red Tool, and you see him also pulling out a mace. And you see this one actually running over, and you see her just running up, and you see her get right up on the bench next to you, and it looks like she's about to charge across the table at you, Grybek. Really? It wasn't her turn yet. That's okay. That's what she's gonna do. Yin Yang, you got this dude right in your face and just smacked you with the mace.
Yeah.
I didn't know it.
Pretty much just gonna stand up and punch him in the face.
Alright, get him.
Actually, you know what? No, he took a cheap shot at me. I'm punching him in the nut.
Is that the required action?
For a cheap shot to a man who was just laughing? Yeah.
You give cheap shots, you get punched in the nuts. That's all there is to it. Oof. Alright, the 11 is not going to be quite enough to hit.
Alright, spend a key point, flurry of blows.
Okay. Actually, I'm wrong. The 11 is exactly what you need to hit. Haha. These are thugs. Go ahead and roll that damage, and then do that flurry of blows, and roll the damage on those as well. Except for that third one.
Yeah.
So 10 points total. As he runs up to you, you like just quickly snap out a punch, and you just catch him with the jab right to the nose. And he kind of like, oh, and as he staggers back, as you kind of standing up, you kind of wah wah, give him two more. The first one gets him solidly right in his gut as you hear an explosion of breath, and you kind of bend over a little bit, and it kind of just the movement in it was enough to kind of throw off your punch, and it kind of glances off this leather armor that he's wearing.
You want some more? Back up. That'd be my turn.
Okay, Red Tool, you just got rushed up on by this human.
Well, time to show him why that was a bad idea. As I'm going to punch him twice.
And not having your chains does not matter. Go ahead and roll the damage on those.
Both hit?
Yes, sir. Okay. So as you hit for that 13 points of damage, you just, as he's running up, you just turn around and you just back fist him right as he's running up to you, and you see his whole head just kind of staggers to the right, and as he's kind of like, you know, turning his head back towards you, as you're standing up and turning, you just uppercut this dude, and he actually goes flying backwards a step from the force of this blow. As you see him kind of like shaking his head, he kind of like opens his eyes and looks back at you. Not out of the fight, but definitely rocked. Is that going to be the end of your turn, sir?
That will be the end of my turn, yes.
Okay. Miss Bordi.
As my free object interaction, I'm gonna whip out my wand.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast which bolt? That. Spending 2 charges through the wand. Second level. And in replacing my roll, I'm just gonna take the 18 I rolled earlier with Portent.
Okay. Sure thing. So you pulled out your wand, and you see his eyes kind of like widen a little bit. He's like, huh? Witch! And as you, as you're casting the witch bolt, as the lightning like lances out of the end of this wand. You see it connect with this thug, and you see his instantly just kind of start shaking. He's like, as all of his muscles seize up. You see his arms instantly start clenching. You see his fingers all start curling into wicked claws from him clenching so hard, as you see his back arch from this electricity racing through his body. And roll the damage on that. So 16 total points. And did you roll the attack?
I would have rolled it, but I was replacing the roll with my portent.
No, you were good. Absolutely. Okay.
I guess I could have rolled to try and get critical, but let's see. It would have hit no matter what, but I'm still replaced. I was planning on replacing it no matter what.
I linked all of these things to the.
Oh yeah, let me pull up the effects. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I linked all of these tokens to the hit points on one thing, so sadly they're sharing the same hit point pool. How much damage did you do, Ratul?
I did 13.
Alright, everybody's gonna shoot.
Oh, did he move away from me and provoke an opportunity?
He kind of stepped away from you when you were punching him, just from the force of your uppercut. Okay. So the witch bolt definitely hit, and you did a total of 16 points, right? Yep. Hold on 1 second, I gotta go with my girlfriend in the door. I'll be right back.
Man, boys are in quite a bit of a barroom brawl. Does this feel like
I decided to take it outside. Ensure to try. Yes, some of us decided to play by the rules and take it outside.
Oh, wait, so
I threw a mug.
was I able to see this lightning, the witch bolt that happened?
That would have been pretty. It doesn't create sonic stuff, so but you might have been able to see it. It was pretty bright, and it's still going on. It's like a
Yeah,
beam
no,
of.
that's why I said, did I see the light from it? Specifically, I saw the light from it. I guess I didn't come through entirely.
I
Yeah,
guess after
probably.
we get back.
I'm sort of waiting for you to leave the bar, and now that this fight's happening, I was like waiting until it spilled out far enough for me to actually do something.
And
So-
I wasn't even doing anything, and I got hit for no reason.
So yeah, again, for the DM, is there enough light to signify something's happening outside the bar right now?
He's taking care of something.
yeah, he's
Oh,
taking
okay.
good.
I'm having some lag issues with my Discord.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm just kind of. Yeah, I'm just taking a nap while all this crap, all this stuff's going on. Yeah. Shiza's going on.
When he gets back, I'll make sure to ask and see if I.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think everything's working out okay. Well, I mean, I don't think you guys will die. I mean, this would be kind of funny though. We went through a dungeon and fought a troll and everything, killed by a guy with
So
letters in a bar.
Why is your witch bolt 2?
That's a good question.
Because it was cast at level 2.
Oh.
But does it do that on its own, or did you put in
No,
there for that?
I used my wand, which is a special wand.
Oh, it's a wand of witch bolt.
That's some fancy stuff right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's actually that makes witch bolt a lot more viable.
Yeah.
When you're a sorcerer, witch bolt can actually be pretty viable, but otherwise, having a wand makes it a lot more viable for a wizard and any other caster that's not a sorcerer.
I mean, yeah.
The DM and I worked for a while to figure out what my magic items would be. Because I did an adventure with you guys, and being a I don't know, a guild member and gone on adventures, I would have had some magic items that I picked up over time. Or bought.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about witch bolt is that you can boost the initial damage, but the continuous damage always stays at the
Yeah.
lowest possible level, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
Why would the magic all of a sudden fade after just one initial hit if it's a channeled spell? It makes no sense.
I think what it should do is do like half on if it half rounded up probably.
Alright, I am super sorry about that.
What was it?
Okay, so where were we? You blasted him. He took the damage. Totally sorry about that, guys. So we are done with your turn, Mara?
I'm gonna move. No, I'm done. But I'm going to kind of start like laughing a little maniacally.
Okay.
Also,
Uh,
with the
uh,
witch bolt happening outside, could I see the light from my window?
sure. Go ahead and roll a perception check with advantage.
Cool. $13.
That should be good enough. You definitely see like just a glow through the window. Just a sudden kind of random, like a light white or light blue sort of a glow.
I'm gonna sneak out my window.
Okay. As you kind of pop the window open, it swings out and you look down and you see Mara down below there with her wand out, and she's pointing it at this human male as he's just his whole body seems to be kind of arcing backwards from this attack. Go ahead and grab your token and roll initiative.
Of course.
All right. So you see this thug standing here, hearing the scream from outside, even through the doorway. You see her kind of stop what she was doing and start running out this way. And you see her burst through the doorway, standing next to this thug, and she sees the pain that he seems to be in, and she looks over at you. She says, "You stay off of him, witch!" And she pulls out her mace. Glug. Is going to come to here. And he looks very bored as he's walking over. Oh dear. They never learn. What is he going to do? Okay, so you see him. Let me make sure he's close enough for this. I think he is. Yes. So this guy standing in front of you, Yin Yang, you see him all of a sudden just start to stand upwards, and you see this weird look across his face, and like his eyes are darting around, but it almost seems like he just can't move his body. And you see him just frozen as Gog casts Hold Person on this thug. Brasnic, you're leaning out the window. You suddenly see this other female thug run out and join the first one. You see her pull out a mace and menacingly start stalking towards Mara.
I'm like, what, 10, 12 feet up, right? Or maybe more like 15?
Yeah, I
How
just
tall is the story?
just put a token out there for you.
12 feet, right?
Is the story 12 feet?
The story is 10 feet.
Yeah, be about that, especially in the medieval days.
Alright, so I'm only like 10 feet from the ground. And how far away, just because of the positioning I'm at right now, how far away am I from everybody? The people outside, at least.
I just put a token there. You are not there. Haha.
Yeah, I'm up in my room. There we go. That helps out
And
quite a
you
bit.
still have webs in your beard.
Damn you, Alejandro! But yeah, okay, so... So, use 5 feet of movement to drop out of my window. Hopefully
Okay.
land with a roll silently. Sort of.
Yeah,
Acrobatic.
roll dexterity and stealth.
Cool, dexterity.
For
Yeah.
the dexterity for the landing and stealth for the roll.
And... God damn it.
I feel like that stealth roll should be on disadvantage.
I can do it on disadvantage. I'll roll on disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay. So you land and you feel like your knees kind of come up and they hit you in the chest, and it does drive the wind out of you just a little bit, but you're able to kind of roll into the bushes without much sound at all. You catch your breath just a little bit.
Not the smoothest landing. Whatever. Did I land prone? That's actually very important to my movement. Did I land prone from that?
No. It kind of came out, your knees came up to your chest, but you're able to kind of spring up to your feet, press your back up against the wall, hiding in the bushes.
Alright. Then that was only 5 feet of movement. Still got 20 feet left. Are these like a tall line of bushes there? Like, if I'm crouched over and sneak over there, am I gonna be not seen yet?
No, you'll be seen once you step out of these bushes.
All right, so then never mind. I'll just move over here to the edge of the bushes and hurl a dagger at the lady thug who seems like she's gonna menace our new party member.
Okay.
Actually, she's a thug. So, without getting my new party member in the radius, I shall use my other spell slot, which I haven't used, and then to sleep.
All right. Let's see. That is Constitution.
No, if the points exceed their remaining HP, they fall asleep, and you subtract from lowest to highest. There's no save or anything. It's just if I can exceed their hit points, they go to sleep.
Okay.
And then you take the subtraction from my number. So with 24, if they have 5, you take off 5 as one guy falls asleep. I now have 19 points to
Right. So you see this affect the guy that's being hit by this jolt of electricity. This is a continued jolt of electricity, so if he does take more damage from it, he'll be awake again. But you see him kind of like fall over, like as he's being kind of held up by this electricity, you see him actually, his eyes close and he kind of like his head lolls backwards, but the electricity itself is still keeping him upright. The other thug, the female thug, she kind of like shakes her head, but seems to shake off the effects.
Damn. Good. Try to use my action to hide / fall through the window from the window, so my bonus action at least. So I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. This guy gets to do nothing because he's jacked up and asleep. All right, we finally made it to 1, and that means it is time for
To me, the guy
Master
who started
Grybek.
it all. Alright, so I'm gonna move 15 to stand next to this gentleman. And if he's just standing still, he's like a whole person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I want to reach on his belt, take the coin purse he stole, and just toss it back to the guy at the chair as my action.
Okay. So his eyes follow your movements as your hand reaches down, as you grab it, pull it out from where you had hidden it away. As you yank it out and toss it over there, you see him like kind of furiously looking at you, but it still seems like he cannot move his muscles.
Alright. And if that was my full action, then that's all I'm gonna do. I don't need to hit this guy, he can't move.
Okay. All right.
I'm just gonna say, keep an eye on your coin purse.
All right. So at his next turn, well, at the end of his turn, he can't do anything. So we're just gonna say at the end of his turn. DC 13. Not quite enough there, thug man. You see him kind of struggling. You see his teeth kind of grinding together, and you see his cheeks kind of tense, but he just cannot seem to break this magical hold that Gok has over him. At 19, however, you see this thug pull out his mace, step forward, and swing it as hard as he can at Ratul. Do either one of those attacks hit, sir? Ratul?
15 hits.
So you do take 4 points of bludgeoning as you almost just kind of like using your arms to kind of like defend yourself from these attacks. It kind of hits you on your lower forearm. You can feel like it's going to leave a bruise later, but you know that 4 points isn't enough to take out the big orc. That will be the end of his turn. Yin Yang.
Oh man, the amount of poetic justice tonight. You can't move. I'm gonna roundhouse elbow him to his jaw joint.
Alright. Different tactic than Grybek took.
Oh, I'm buzzing and he cheap shotted me. I don't care.
It's true.
Actually, it's an auto crit because I believe he's paralyzed.
He is paralyzed. So go ahead and roll that crit damage as well. So 6 points total.
Uh-huh. And then none of them.
Okay. So you lash out with your elbow, smash him in the side of his face. You see him kind of shake his head to the side, not really able to move at all. Very, very minimal movement. It does have some reaction. as you strike at him again, you see his head just kind of like shake to the side a little bit and then instantly go back to the previously held position. He still seems to be conscious, however.
Oh, it's like a living punching bag.
Yeah, it's very similar to like if you were to punch a crash test dummy. Is that the end of your turn, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. The Red Earth.
Well, I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm gonna keep punching.
Both hits.
11.
All right. You see that he kind of staggers back as you hit him. Bam, bam again. The 1-2 punch combo. You see him kind of stagger from it, and he seems to be like his whole side of his face is just bruised. You see blood coming down from his eye, from his nose. You see him just looking very weak at this point, and he's kind of looking to his friend like, does he want to bail on him or continue the fight? Is that the end of your turn, sir?
That's the end of my turn.
Ms. Bordi.
So I didn't see. I just saw this this guy fall to sleep after being heavily electrocuted.
Yes. And yeah, you can't tell if he passed out from the pain or something else.
Okay, so seeing this woman come up, especially with the glances she was giving this guy, I'm all too happy to continue the fight. So I'm going to cast. Magic Missile.
Okay. And is that going to break the concentration on the witch bolt?
Nope.
Okay.
So I'm gonna shoot those 3 magic missile bolts at her.
Okay. So as she steps forward, you see her start to charge, and you plow, fire off 1, plow, plow, fire off 2 more. As they hit her, you see her stagger, and then blah, blah, and you see her stagger 2 more times. She kind of like winces from each one of them, kind of shakes her head at you, looks up at you, anger.
And now that he's asleep still, I'm gonna retreat a little bit.
Okay. And what's the range on that witch bolt? 30 feet?
30 feet, so I'm staying within the range.
Alright. So as you're backing away, you're holding out your wand, you see this arcing ray of electricity still attached to this thug as he's still kind of, twitching and clawed hands straining against this magic. So she wouldn't have really sensed the magic or where that came from, so she's really kind of focused on Mara at this point. Kind of trying to stay away from this electricity. You see her kind of shake off these magic bolts. As she charges towards you, you see her raising up her mace and just screaming kind of wildly. She's like, "Ah!" She swings twice at you. Oof.
I'm gonna make the because they would both hit, but I was gonna when the first one make that first attack, I was gonna use my other portent and make it a 5 plus whatever her bonuses are. I don't know what those are. So
Okay.
that's the last of my 2 dice.
Okay. So that would have been a 9 on the first one, and then the second one stays a 20?
Yep, that still hits.
Okay. So yeah, as you kind of wave your hand at her, almost seems like the magic, the movement of your hand slides the mace away from connecting with you. And she kind of looks down at it in surprise and looks back at you. "I've had enough of you, witch!" She swings at you again. This time the mace connects with your arm, and you feel this loud kind of crack and a crunching noise. inside your arm, deep inside. She hits you for 8 points of damage.
And my concentration breaks.
And doing so, suddenly, as the witch bolt seems to almost shatter in its magic as it fades away, you see this thug kind of fall to the ground, limply across the stone. Guglug. Guglug doesn't mess around. And he... Oof. As he kind of keeps stalking forward, looking almost bored and disinterested in this whole process, you see him just kind of lift up one hand. As he waggles his fingers on the other hand, he points one of his black clawed fingered hands towards the one that Red Tool is fighting, and you see this ray of icy whiteness kind of shoot out from him and slam into the back of this thug. As you see this ice kind of crystallized lines kind of race out of his back where it hits and kind of up and over his shoulders. You see this this breath of cold air kind of leave his lips as his teeth instantly start chattering. As he hits him with the ray of frost, you see him just kind of like fall down to his knees. And he's just sitting there, just kind of hugging himself against this coldness. Mr. Grindstone.
Grindstone! Yeah, so my mage commander was smart enough to cut off the electricity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the guy that stays unconscious.
Well, that just kind of happened.
I have to use an action to do more damage to someone I've used Witch Bolt too, so it didn't wake him.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go here, use bonus action to dash to get over here. And short sword!
Roll a stealth.
Okay. $19.
Okay, take advantage.
Sweet. Short sword, there we go.
Mara, as you're standing there after this thug hits you brutally with this weapon, you suddenly see Brasnic sneaking up behind her as he slowly pulls out his short sword. You see him with kind of a slight smile as he comes up behind her and then suddenly stabs her right in the back. Go ahead and roll that damage.
Alright, 1 second.
Get that sneak attack bonus, sir.
To change something right. Alright, damn it.
Okay.
So,
16?
yes, 16 in total. 16 piercing.
You see her just scream out in pain as she arcs backwards as your short sword kind of comes out of her stomach. You see her kind of like look down, like with a look of horror mixed with shock as she sees this sword sticking out of her stomach. As you yank it back out, you see her also drop down to her knees. She drops down to one knee and she's kind of clutching at her belly.
Alright, listen. You might want to give up now. Can't promise I'll keep you alive if you don't.
Okay. This thug, does he get to save? Or is this
There's
just-
no save. He is unconscious for a minute unless someone uses an action to wake him or he takes damage.
Okay. He doesn't do a damn thing. Mr. Grybek, you have two thugs here that are at the verge of defeat.
Alright, so he's still hold person.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, and he's actually cringing on the ground from the frost.
This one is.
Oh, that one is.
This
okay.
guy just got the Ray of Frost. This guy's got the hold person, and then Yin Yang slapped him a couple times.
Alright. I don't have any intentions to want to kill these people. I think theft is not a crime worth death. So I'm just gonna punch this one in front of me, which is my bare fist.
Okay.
And I'm not, or probably not proficient in unarmed combat, so it's just my strength, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think it's an auto crit.
Yeah, because he is paralyzed.
Okay, so it's just 1 plus my strength, which would be 4. And then the crit damage is at 2 plus my strength, so it'd be 5.
Did you roll damage?
I think isn't unarmed strike just 1 point of damage plus your strength modifier?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if you're not proficient in unarmed strikes, it's just 1 plus strength.
So it'd be probably 2 plus unarmed. 1 plus strength, sorry, 2 plus strength.
Yeah, so it's gonna be 5 damage.
Alright.
With the hope of just knocking him out. I don't want to kill him.
He definitely, his head, well, it would lull, but okay. He is still just barely conscious. You see him, he just, he seems like he is at the verge of going down for sure.
Alright. And then bonus action, I'm just gonna tickle him. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. As your fingers reach out. I'm just kidding. Okay, is that the end of your turn, sir?
That's it.
Alright. I don't know if this guy gets a will save at this point. Definitely not gonna break free of anything. You see him just kind of like at this point, just kind of close his eyes, just kind of resigned to his fate.
Being humiliated, basically.
Indeed. And you see this guy immediately. He like throws up his hands, starts backing away. Says, "Sorry. Please don't kill me." As he starts trying to back away from you, Rachel. You and Yin Yang can both get an attack of opportunity if you so desire.
I will take my attack of opportunity.
Okay. Alright. As he's trying to get away, you just lash out with a quick backhand. And you see him actually like spin in the air. As he spins around just like 3 times, just pirouetting fully in the air as he lands down on the ground, just completely out.
It wasn't a lethal blow. I basically just knocked him the fuck out.
Okay. He is knocked the fuck out. Okay. And that is definitely the end of his turn. Mr. Yang.
Pretty much, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same. Just knock this guy out.
Okay.
And let this be a lesson to you. Don't take cheap shots at people. A double crit. What the fuck?
As you go to hit this guy, you suddenly feel this burst of energy, this burst of magic, and as your tattoos light up, even in mid-swing, you're almost looking at your hand in shock as you're swinging your fist. As your fist connects with them, you see this whoosh, this flash of light, and it seems to be something different, even than what you experienced with the attack of air that you did before. And you feel like this tug almost at the base of your mind as this flash happens. And you see this again, this thug just kind of spins through the air and lands over in a heap on the ground. And as you draw your hand back, you suddenly just feel this energy kind of disappear.
That was just from my regular blow?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay, I gotta get a handle on this. I didn't even try to do that.
And it definitely did not feel like what you experienced before. didn't feel like your key, and it didn't feel like that touch of the element.
Wait, weren't there more with these guys? Where the other? I thought there were more of them.
You see Goglug kind of look out the front door as you're saying this. Okay, so you're gonna move over that way.
And that's my movement 50 feet.
Okay.
Can I are they like old saloon push open doors, or is it a door?
It's a door. Yeah, and they're closed, so you can't see what's happening out there just yet.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I kind of accidentally bump into one of the patrons on my way by and say, "Ooh, sorry, I had a little bit of drink."
Okay. Okay. Mara, you just got whacked.
How is this individual looking?
She is looking pretty bad. Definitely had a short sword shoved through her back. You saw the sword come out of her stomach. And she seems to be down on one knee and just kind of holding the wound closed with her left hand.
I can see Brasnic at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, you saw him sneak up behind her.
okay. I said, funny that you called me a witch, because you're the one who's going to burn. I'm gonna create a bonfire underneath her.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This elf doesn't play around. As the flames start racing up out of the ground, you see her eyes grow wide as the flames start licking at her boots, going up her calves. You feel her kind of grimace in pain, even just from the beginnings of this bonfire, and you see her just kind of tuck and roll back over to here to get away from it. You guys both get an attack of opportunity if you'd like. Okay. So, are you guys going for the kill here?
Yeah.
Alright. So as she's like, kind of rolls away from it, as she stands up, Mara, you just come over and you have your knife held like with a dagger out the bottom of your fist. And as you step forward, you just kind of like punch towards her and just drag the blade of your knife across her throat. And as she stands up, you see her just... And as she's kind of standing there, suddenly Brasnic comes over and stabs her right in her side. And as he yanks his sword out, you see her instantly just flop to the ground dead.
Little surprised you wanted to kill the girl. But hey, no judgment here.
The other one. He, was not treating me like a woman. I think that, he deserves to be awake. To be, well, let's say, treated in kind.
Oi, Glass. I know we just killed one, but that wasn't open combat. He's defenseless. Let's not go killing when we don't have to.
Oh, I'm not suggesting we kill him.
Sounded like it.
I'm suggesting he gets what's coming to him. And I'm gonna, on his body, start kicking his, weapons and anything of, like, that could hurt people.
Okay. Alright. So at 8, you see Goglug kind of walk over. And he's going to go around this way. You see him just grab this thug by his collar and just starts dragging him out this way. And as he gets to here, he starts turning this way towards this other thug. I think he's about to grab him and start dragging him out too. Actually, he can use his bonus action to do that. So you see him. He's got both of these guys in tow now. And he seems to be walking them, dragging them towards the front door. Brasnic, what do you think about this new party member?
As I sit here taking his weapon and everything, as long as she said she didn't want to kill the guy, I'm both surprised and okay with it, sort of. But you know, she's off-putting at the most. Like I have one of those faces where I lean back, like tapping the short sword, as my arms are crossed on like my leather sleeve or whatever, and just sort of confused entirely. Because I mean, she's a mage. She just killed somebody with a dagger. Had no qualms about it, but otherwise, before joining our party, was slightly racist more than normal. I'm very confused.
Okay. Are you gonna kind of stay out there and see what happens?
I mean, I'll take a look into the building to see if, she was the only one to get attacked. It's like,
Okay.
oi!
So you step
Well-
in, and you see Yin Yang kind of standing there. You see Guglug dragging a couple of humans. Look like they might have been in the same party as the thugs outside.
Hey, weren't you upstairs?
Right. Saw some commotion going on downstairs outside the inn, so took some initiative there. You guys cool in here?
Oh yeah, knocked that little punk ass out after he attacked me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a good thing we didn't kill any of them.
Speaking of that, you guys might not have killed anyone in here, but we've had a fatality outside.
Okay. So on that, we are going to go to Grybek. So,
Alright.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll say this. Now that the danger's over, I'm just gonna go back and sit down and order another drink.
Okay. So as you sit down, you do see Brasnic kind of coming over and just kind of clucking her teeth, like, just one night. Just be nice. One night to have nothing like this happen. We're going to close up pretty soon here, dearies. One more round and then it's off to bed with you.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna head up that way. I just got hit with a mace. I was already drinking. My happy night just got ruined. Fuck all this. Fuck all them guys. Bye.
Alright. As you're walking away, you see this old guy. Just tap, tap, tap. Takes a few steps. Tap, tap, tap. Takes a few steps. You see him kind of like stopping, and he looks at you for a second, Brasnic. Interesting indeed. You see him
I
just
didn't do it.
walks out
Just point out.
and makes his way off into the village.
Who is that? And why was he muttering things about interesting? I'm confused. I don't swing that way.
So, Mara, what did you have in mind for this thug that treated you so poorly?
Oh, stuff. I sent you what I'm gonna be doing.
Oh,
Oh god, what am I saying?
It's not what I think. It's not anything not
okay.
safe for work, is it? Right now?
No.
So,
Okay.
as you kind of poke your head back outside, Brasnic, you see that both Mara and the thug seem to be gone.
Oh, where'd you go? Whatever. I want to go ahead and loot the thug we killed together. Even though she's disappeared.
Okay.
Like, she probably wouldn't go report to like the Mage Guild or something. I don't know. I'm going to assume she took him to his rightful arrest, even though there's a like 60% chance I know that's BS.
You see these two thugs get thrown outside by Gok. He kind of looks over at you, looting the corpse of this one. Dwarves.
Oi!
He
Don't
goes
do
back,
that.
shuts the door, and goes back inside.
Did you really just do that? Oh my god. I'm like frozen in my like bent over mid looting thing and just be like, did he really just do that as what an orc or a half orc? Did he really just do that?
He is a half orc. You're right about that. It's a little turnaround fair play moment for him. Okay.
Apparently.
Jeez, situation's turned. The worm is turned.
It's true. So looting, and you're gonna loot the other ones as well while they're there and passed out.
Oh, they're all fair game. They attacked us.
Accumulated, you find 21 gold pieces amongst them.
Sweet. I tie their shoes together. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Okay. So you head back inside, I'm assuming. And
I'm not going back inside just yet.
Yin Yang is heading up to sleep.
I'm gonna go off and see if I can find our mage lady.
Okay. So, as you start wandering, which way are you going?
Is this grassy area enough to leave tracks? Like, could I tell that she went off in some direction at all?
Roll in perception.
You said perception, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely see some marks in the grass. Looks like she went right around this corner, right over here. No problem.
Off to find the mage lady. Well, I'll keep in nice and stealthy, hopefully.
So as you approach this corner over here, you suddenly hear as you kind of poke your head around the corner, you see that this nice mage lady has this thug tied up pretty much in a calf position and is now bent over and breaking his fingers one at a time.
I knew it! I knew it! The evil sadist elf. Evil sadist elf lady.
Well, there's that. And I say this out loud so she can hear me as I'm poking around the corner.
Well, we wouldn't want him hurting anyone else or doing inappropriate things to others, so this will be a reminder and a deterrent for the future.
Right. That's why you're doing that. Uh-huh.
You definitely.
I mean, don't let me stop you. I guess. I'll keep a watch out. Maybe Gok won't come out here and beat somebody senseless.
It's hard to steal when you have broken fingers.
True. And hey, you're just breaking his fingers, not lopping off a hand like most, would for stealing. So.
Gok's definitely gonna have to step up his game as the evil member of the party.
Oh yeah, I need to step up my game now. Get out evil here.
So, are you gonna break all of his fingers?
Well, it seems that he's endured enough punishment, and I'm just gonna leave him there, and I'm gonna start walking off.
Wait, where you going now?
I have a home. I own a house here. Going home.
Oh, okay. Thought you were going back to the Mage Guild. But if
This
you're going home,
mysterious woman disappears off down this pathway.
Well, I'm gonna listen to him. If he's, did you want to go to the Mage Guild? I can take you there. Probably won't be open. You can go to Borrow if you prefer.
Or to say, if it's not going to be open, there's no point in going. But yeah, if you're after your own abode, I'll leave you be, and I guess we'll talk tomorrow.
Yes, good night.
Okay.
Good night.
So you
Scary
see
ass Elvin.
this is scary ass elf woman. You see this very interesting and intimidating elven woman walk off into the night. You make your way back inside. And as the various members of this party kind of make their way to their rooms after having the last round of ales, we are going to cut back over to Mary. And as you kind of head home for the evening, you get to your place and kind of go through your routine, your normal routine for the evening. You practice your spells, you prepare yourself for your night of meditation. And as you find your comfortable place to rest, you start kind of falling into your meditative place, your place of peace and solitude, where you go to gather your strength for whatever may come the following day. And as you do so, you feel like this, almost like a cloudiness around the edges of your mind's eye, and you start to see, it's almost like clouds that you can actually physically see, and suddenly you feel a breeze, and then you hear this tap, 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 and all of a sudden you see this stone pathway, and you see these leaves skittering across the stones as wind picks up again and rustles them. Tap, tap, tap. As you see this pathway stretches out before you, and it seems to lead to this large stone archway. Beyond that, an even larger stone gazebo. Almost seems like it was carved out of one piece of gigantic marble. And as your vision kind of stretches closer, you see these 4 forms almost seem to manifest. You see one, you feel the stronger breeze as you see almost a swirling of leaves, and all of a sudden out of this swirling of air and leaves you see this bluish skinned form kind of step out of it, and it stands there with its head down. And suddenly beside it you see the stones next to him start to heave and rumble, and suddenly you see this hand poke up out of the ground. As it hits the ground, you see another one come up out of the ground, and slowly you see this body push itself up out of the earth. As you see another man standing there, and he slowly lowers his head. And suddenly you see this huge gout of flame, and as the flame resides and falls away, you see another man standing there with his eyes aglow, dark, husky skin. As he also lowers his head, and they all seem to be almost reverently bowing towards this empty space before them. And finally, you hear the rushing of water, as suddenly you see this pool kind of gather in this 4th spot, and as this water starts snaking up into the air and expanding, and slowly becomes this other figure who is also bowing towards this empty space. And finally, almost as if it's coming from a place of complete transparency and slowly fading into existence. You see this form floating up above this empty space in a cross-legged position, and his head is also bowed. And the four elemental forms bow deeply in respect to this cross-legged being. And then they turn as your vision starts to fall away and you see the back of what looks like a young human man. And as he slowly walks forward, you see these four elemental beings turn towards him. And you see them bow towards him in deep respect. And you see this smile start to creep across the face of this wise old man. And you see a smile start to creep across the faces of these four elemental beings as they raise their arms in welcoming and seem to be extremely happy at the presence of this young human. And as this man starts walking forward, looking, even from behind, looking relieved, as if he had been on a long journey and had finally found his home, a place for him to be who he was meant to be. And as he's walking forward, as this old wise man is reaching his arms out towards this human, all of a sudden, you see this bright blue and white energy erupt from his chest as his blood sprays across the stone, the white marble in front of him. You see his eyes open wide as again this blade is drawn out, and as this master falls to the ground, you suddenly you see all of these other blades erupt from the chests of these four elemental beings. And as these creatures all fall as well, you see almost duplicates of this one person, this one being standing there. And they all seem to be shrouded in these dark clothing, this almost like rags with wide brimmed hats, almost looking like they're made of bamboo. And as they all look up, you see one singular glowing red eye looking straight at you from multiple vantage points. And then all of a sudden, vroom, 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 all around you, you see all of these other swords light up as you see all of these other singular red eyes look up towards you, as you see hundreds of these assassins all looking at this human man. You see them all rush this man with their swords out, and he bravely tries to fight them. But they quickly overwhelm him, and as he is cut from 1,000 wounds, as he is turning and falling in his death, you recognize the face of Yin Yang. As suddenly this vision ends, and your eyes snap open, and you see your room around you. What do you do?
So, what was that?
I'm going to write it all down in my book of prophecies and visions.
Okay.
Keep very meticulous notes of all the divination and prophecies that I have been able to see. I'll try and review with all of my material what it could have meant and what it could mean for the future or for the past.
Okay. Okay. So you take these notes, and this vision definitely remains very clear in your mind, even long after you finish taking the notes. And as you kind of rest into the rest of your trance and kind of spending the rest of your evening, you do manage to get the rest that you were searching for, but it seems to be a fitful and troubled rest, for sure. And over the course of the next couple of days, as these weapons are being forged, as you guys are recovering from your journey into the Sunless Citadel, Grybek definitely goes off to assist with the making of these weapons. And the person that you were introduced to as in this forge, you're led into, and you know, you've seen some very impressive forges, obviously being a dwarf. The one that you are led to, while styled by humans, is definitely impressive to you as well. You know, of course, your first thought is, you know, it doesn't equal the great old dwarven forges, but it definitely has everything that you need to successfully do what is planned here.
Yes, this will do.
And you set to work. The person that you meet is, in fact, another dwarf. Very jovial, kind of a fellow who likes to talk a lot when he's working. And so you definitely learn a lot about his time working for the broker, and also, you know, his life before that, living in a dwarf community that, you know, you have heard of. It would have been one of the mountain clans that were more fairly common in the area. And, you know, pretty much learned way more than you ever wanted to know about this dwarf.
Oh, we're family now.
Pretty much. So through the course of this time, you guys are able to, you also are working with extremely fine leather craftsmen who are able to take this fire snake leather and form it an extremely nice leather gauntlet out of it, using the dragon scale, the red dragon scale. They were expertly able to carve that up into the perfect size pieces to use as backing plates all around this leather gauntlet to give it an extra, you know, physical weight and resistance against the weight of the chains, which was where you came in. You guys were able to take these dragon chains that were forged to hold dragons, and you were able to get them into the fire and imbue it with magic and with your clerical might as you reached out to your god to help imbue these weapons. You were able to take the fire glands and basically, with the mortar and pestle and with some special powders, you were able to make a paste, which you guys then, you know, rubbed all along the length of these chains, and then cast them into the fire to imbue them with this magic. And as you guys expertly and artfully reattach links of this chain to this gauntlet, and as the final spells are cast, you know that you were able to successfully create this chain that would be connected to the rage of the great behemoth that walks with you. And as you kind of finish that, you know, with a little bit of pride in your workmanship, your craftsmanship, you know, the dwarf claps you on the back, says, "Well done. Let's get on to yours then." And as
Yes,
you guys again dive into the next project, working long into the next night even, you guys are able to take Shatter Spike, and using the metal from your previous Warhammer, you're able to melt that down and craft a new handle and a new cradle for this Warhammer. And using the metal from the blade of Shatter Spike, you're able to melt that down, and using your clerical magic, you're able to maintain the magic of the weapon within the melted steel. And as it is cast into the new mold as you guys are able to do the final work on that. As you pick up the weapon after it's finally done, you can feel the magic within the head of this hammer, and you see it actually start to glow after you kind of attune with it for a little while. You see it start to glow with this bluish sort of a light while you're holding it.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of this weapon. This should not be possible to do.
Indeed. And you can definitely tell that your god was kind of watching this process and helping you. So,
Is there anything else I had to build, or was it just the chains and the hammer? Right?
there was a deal if Brasnic were to hand over his beloved egg, that you would indeed forge him some gauntlets that would trigger daggers on his commands, I assume with some sort of a muscle trigger from the forearm, or even a finger trigger if he so wishes, that would shoot out a dagger from a loaded sheath within the gauntlet that would shoot it out so he could grab it in his hands and have daggers instantly ready to use.
Alright, so I'm gonna get to work on those.
Okay, so you kind of finish up the rest of your duties within the forge itself. As the rest of you guys do take some time to recover, the next couple of days.
I'm gonna take Brasnic to the Mage Guild because I promised I would.
Okay. All right. And
Right.
what were you guys wanting to do at the Mage Guild?
I was gonna show him around and try and help him harness his spells a little better and a little more focused, and teach him some of the arcane tricks that I know. It may not cross over because I still don't know exactly how he's able to cast his magic particularly, but
Okay.
I'll give him some pointers.
And through the
And I'll
course.
resist,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and I'll resist the urge to take everything that glows the shiny, shiny light.
Okay. As you're going through, you definitely do see a lot of really amazing and wondrous things within the Wizards Guild. Just walking through there, all kinds of wonders and delights, and you feel almost a sense of being at home. Like you haven't felt, even within the dwarven community, you always felt like you were a little bit different than most of the dwarves. And then going out, of course, after you were kind of chased out, you know, your feeling of being alone in the world kind of only magnified from there. Never really finding a place that you fit in, and you suddenly, weirdly, kind of feel that from this place.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And you just kind of awakening the magic within yourself. And through the course of this journey, Mara, you kind of glean that his way of learning magic, in fact, is very similar to yours, and that he does, in fact, have a spell book and needs to study that book each night in order to be able to cast spells the next day.
Right. So, this place is great, and if I didn't feel so strange at home, I'd want to steal everything in sight. But cool. What exactly does the Mage Guild do beside? I mean, are there like monthly meetings you got to go to and things like that, or what's the benefits of joining this place?
Benefits? Well, you cannot be a non-practicing mage in the city without being a member. Otherwise, we will make sure you will not be practicing. I say with kind of an unnerving smile. But besides being able to practice magic in the city, well, you pay a little in, and then get a little out. There are quests somewhat that are given out. A lot of the stuff that we do as a mage guild, we either work with lowly quests like locating objects for people or dealing with infestations, but some of our members help predict weather, which is very helpful for the farmers, and some of us send messages over long distance for
I'm not
people.
asking exactly what all functions of the guild are. I'm saying when you join up, what benefits do you get from joining up?
Well, you get exclusive ability to operate. Uh, there are certain teleportation circles that we have access to that no one else has access to. Even non-members cannot pay their way into. You also get to practice magic in the city. It is the only way you're allowed to practice magic in the city. If unless you're a cleric or a druid, it is banned unless you're licensed by the guild.
Banned or just frowned upon? Like, you sit
No,
there arresting random people if they didn't sign up and don't know?
well, let's just say we don't have a lot of non-guild member practicing mages, because if they did, they'd be breaking guild policy, and the city let us deal with people who break with guild policy, and people don't want to cross the mages.
Okay, so far it's I don't get whacked over the head and taken to a secret below chamber and get tortured to death if I practice within the city. Magic teleportation circles that no one else has access to.
And
And
you get exclusive dibs on magic items and anything related to magic. You get first crack at it among the guild, and as long as you get seniority, you get early access to. It's a pretty good deal.
how exactly do you move up in the guild? In the other guilds I've been into, it's rather easy. It's more based on wealth and uh, rivals, using air quotes, disappearing.
Well, we also have the rivals disappearing, but that's mostly because of failed experiments or mistakes. But you can move up if you display a high power of magic. Inventing a spell would be a pretty big, easy way to climb the ranks. There's greasing the right wheels with people, making friends, having apprentices.
So that's why you wanted to apprentice me so fucking quickly.
Yes. It's easier for me to move up to have more people I'm connected with and more members, so it's better for the guild.
Right. Okay.
The more magic concentrated in one area, the more powerful you can make it. Wizards and sorcerers and I guess warlocks can combine their skills to cast more powerful magics together. And sometimes we like to do that.
Really? You got some cross beams that way? It's not just like wizards have to get together to do it, and then sorcerers have to get together, and then warlocks, but all three can just sort of intermingle.
Well, certain rituals just require you to be able to focus the arcane. Um, and as long as you can focus the arcane, you can like put power into these rituals. And some of them are quite benign, like protection ones that keep the city uh, safe in times of danger, or some of them are a little less savory if things really go dire, or some of them just happen because we need them. Like a new teleportation circle needs to be built and sped up by having more people work on it.
Alright. So what's the... I have to sign something to join up? Is there a ceremony or something, or...
Well, if you officially apprentice under me,
Don't like the way you said that, but go on.
all we have to do is register with one of the guild officials, and it's it's as easy as that generally. But you have to show that you can perform magic, and that's why I've been making sure you can.
And what rules am I having to follow if I'm your official apprentice?
Mm, just practice and get better at magic. I don't care how you do it, just do it. I'm a little hands off, if you were.
Great. As opposed to all the hands-on stuff you were doing last night. Gotcha.
Let's hope that never comes to you.
It
Wow.
damn well better not, or you'll be meeting a blade in the dark.
Wow.
I don't
Well-
go around thieving from friends and shit. But there'll be no breaking of me fingers, alright?
Well, if he was thieving, that would have been one thing. That was a little more personal than thieving.
What? You made an elvish slur or something calling you blade eared or something?
No. He looked at me lewdly.
Really? Wait, you're telling me you broke a man's fingers and basically tortured him because he gave you a patient in a creepy way?
Yes.
I'm not sure I want to be your apprentice. That's taking it pretty fucking far.
I also gave him a chance to apologize.
It might have been an extreme reaction, but you know.
A chance to so because you did. Good God, woman! That's a hell of an extreme reaction.
Well, he should have realized the consequences when I told him if he didn't apologize, he would die. I let him off easy.
That's. You're lucky no one knows you sort of did this, and he's not gonna go tell anybody. That's like putting you in jail immediately for attacking someone without provocation. Him giving you a look, not actually touching you or trying to do anything fine to you, is not a plausible reason to torture him or threaten him with death.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but at the same time, it was an insult to my honor and to my womanhood.
Technically, it was a compliment to your womanhood.
You did not see
Because he
him.
was attracted to you.
You did not see him, and you did not view the interaction. He knew what he was getting into because he followed me out of the bar to attack me.
Like, attack you sexually or with a weapon?
Doesn't matter.
Who knows?
I'm just asking. I'm sort of taken back to the fact that you're trying to, you killed him over a lewd look.
She didn't kill him.
Okay, tortured him over.
Could
Could I just? Are we having this conversation just in public right now?
I'm with her at the Mages Guild having this conversation.
Oh, okay. So
There's
just
no one
having this.
listening in. We're in like a private room.
Oh, okay. That's
We're not present.
So eventually, you guys do reconvene at the Manicore Stone. And there were a couple of kernels that were dropped throughout the course of the game tonight. Did you guys want to discuss those as a group at all?
There were a couple what?
Little nuggets of information. You did learn from Dell that there might be more than just a disorganized band of orcs in the mine. And then there was Mara, the vision that Mara had.
Wait, now that we've all reconvened, I turn to the rest of the group and say, no one give this woman a lewd look or you'll lose fingers. Apparently.
Oh, none of you would be so unkind and immature as to behave like a certain individual. I trust all of you will be polite to me.
I mean, I'm not into elf chicks, if that's what you're asking. No.
I'm going to ignore that I heard that.
It
I'm
wasn't.
just gonna give it-
I mean, is it weird that I think this elf's like super hot over here, boss?
He's totally invisible, and you're the only one that can hear him. Go.
Sorry, what? You're... Really?
I mean,
Really?
what? She just tortured that dude just for looking at her. I mean, that's just. I mean, that's something like like a demon chick would do. I mean, that's pretty fucking hot.
I mean, okay, man, whatever you're into. I don't know. That's
Well,
just,
you don't
that's-
just like to break a finger or two, just get a little
I
something
mean,
on it.
I'm okay with that, but I'm not really into elves. That's the thing. I've had a lot of bad experiences with elves. Okay?
Are you saying this out loud?
So you guys can
saying this
hear.
out loud.
You guys can hear everything that Gok just said, but you couldn't hear what John just said.
This looks like I'm going crazy right now.
Oh.
So he was just down there talking about banging elves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look back at the elven chick, seeing if there's like anger or there will be more finger breaking very soon.
Though it looks like she just totally blocked everything he was saying out and just totally ignoring.
Quarters. Right.
Yin
Well,
Yang.
Oh, what happened?
What do you want?
I had a vision. I don't know if you know this, but there are many types of magics. And I happen to be, or have an aptitude for the divination, or seeing what was, or is to be. I had a vision with you in it. It's a
You
little.
met me one night and having dreams about me. What?
Ho ho! Ho ho!
It's not a dream. I don't really dream. I have visions. They are coated in many layers of symbolism, generally.
I mean, if you're
They
sleeping
are.
and you had this vision,
I
that
do
would
not.
be-
In my trance, I see things.
Which is the elven version of sleeping. You had a dream.
It's a little more complicated, delving into future and past and present. I can see things that are more clear than a dream, much more clear, and have actual ramifications on the future. So Yin Yang, do you have any connections to men? And I'm going to describe the hat.
I was about to say, he obviously has connections to men. Most of us are men here.
No, the men in, like, I'm going to describe the hat and then the one-eye part, but nothing else yet.
Okay. For the sea.
I have no idea what any of that is. I've only known my life back where I came from with my sensei / father figure.
Describe him for me.
I'm sorry?
Describe him for me. I saw multiple people in this vision. I could have been seeing a potential past or a potential future.
I mean, to best describe him, he was old man, about, I want to say, 6 foot. He's the one that actually taught me how to fight. He was a monk of some order. He said he learned his martial prowess from some monks.
Oh, good God, Yin Yang. That's not a description. Give a physical description of your master, is what she's asking. Not his history.
Thank you.
You started off well. About 6 feet tall, old man. Now, what does he normally wear? Does he have a mole on his left cheek or something? A scar across an eye? Physical descriptions, man.
Shut up, I'm hungover.
Your fault.
Thank you, Brasnic. You seem to get the picture.
I've been down in a dungeon dealing with these vague assholes for like forever.
Anyhow, about 6 foot, medium length gray hair. Always had it tied up in a knot. Well built. One red eye, one blue eye. He didn't really talk much about. So, other than his physical description, other than how he raised me, I don't really know much else about him. I mean, he told
Is
me
he alive?
he passed away. He's the one who actually sent me on my journey.
How did he die?
Old age.
Well, there was an old man in my vision. I don't know if it matches your description, and he was murdered, so
It doesn't sound like the description matches what you said.
I was about to say, you obviously know of him with him. It's not every day there's an old man who's well built, around 6 foot tall, with one red eye and one blue eye. As far as I know with humans, that's not normal.
was your master human?
As far as I was aware.
See?
Well,
And
you
Brasnic
might
is not that
recall
strange.
in the
It's
future
one
it's
green, one blue.
What now?
I said, and Brasnic is not that strange. I've got one green and one blue.
Okay, whatever that's called, for most humans I've come across, as a locksmith dealing with a lot of different people, and also as an appropriator of items that may not necessarily belong to myself, it's not exactly common.
It's true, you haven't seen this condition in a lot of other people you've come across, but you have led a pretty isolated life.
Like I said, he pretty much raised me, but I don't know much about his past. He didn't talk about it much. He just told me he was got trained by monks in some temple. He taught me how to fight. Taught me my morals. He was a good man.
well,
I can say that much. He was definitely a good man.
the person I saw was probably not that person then. There happened to be 4 representations of the elements. There happened to be many other very distinct features about this man. Maybe in the future you will meet someone who will fit this description. This is not one of my regular prophecies or uh, foretellings, so I can't give you much. There's not much for me to work on yet, but I will help try and divine the meaning in it for you.
Oi, woman, you did exactly what he did. You said descriptions but haven't given a description of the guy you're talking about.
He was an old man. I have.
Hold on, I'll show you.
Because remember, you just said distinct features. You gotta tell us those distinct
There are
features.
elemental features about this individual.
Okay.
And going back through the memory as you're studying it, you definitely remember more distinct features about him. He did have slightly almost yellowish skin, and you could see that his ears seemed to be elongated and pointed.
He appeared to have yellowish skin and elongated ears, with 4 representations of elements surrounding him. Seems to be a interesting individual, if it is an actual individual and not a representation of a psyche or so many other things a dream or vision can be.
Called it a dream. Gotcha.
I just gave you, if you look up in the character sheets, you'll see, I just gave you access to see what the dude looks like.
Gotcha. Oh, I see. Okay. I understand that.
So elongated ears. Elongated ears like
Very long,
linear?
longer than mine to some degree, and very sharp. They taper to even sharper point than mine. He also had a very unique mustache and beard, where I'm gonna describe a Fu Manchu without knowing what a Fu Manchu like in character is.
Okay.
Please describe Fu Manchu for my enjoyment.
And he wore 2 earrings. One earring on both sides, sorry, but there were 2 different ones. They weren't matching. Does
Yeah,
this
that definitely wasn't my master, anybody that we ever met. He didn't have any jewelry. We kind of lived a minimalist lifestyle. If you even look on me, I pretty much only got my clothes, my weapon, and the recent stuff that we found down in our recent adventure. But yeah, no, I never saw anybody like that. He didn't have any pointed ears. He was human.
We've already
human?
established it's not your master. Why are you
Right.
aggressive?
But you should definitely be on the lookout. You seem to go to him before he died. So I will help divine the future, because it's always interesting to see how things turn out. Especially when I have visions of people.
Yeah, especially after you just met him.
Yes.
Do you have visions of inanimate objects sometimes?
So those are the people that you saw. You don't know their names.
Yeah, I assumed not.
Right, so there's that. What I'd miss when I was counting my money.
Well, Brasnic, I want to just tell you something. My shadow was on vacation in the Shadowfell.
Sure it was.
I have a witness. No, I have a witness. Tell her. Tell him.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally true. Like, the shadow just came back, you know, like over here.
No,
and just, like,
no,
up
not
on
you. The one who's
what?
here at the table.
What?
Her.
Oh. Well, I mean,
Mara.
I was, like, right there, too, you know? Like, what am I, like, my opinion just doesn't mean
What?
nothing
I'm
over
not
here.
talking to you. I'm talking to her.
Who are you?
Yeah, no, I just won't take, I don't want to say nothing then, boss. You know, you're the boss,
Okay.
man. I mean, I don't want to be
Look.
talking when you just don't want me to be talking. That'd be, like, really rude if I just kept on
Look,
talking.
don't be
like
that guy right now.
What?
Just
Oh,
don't be that guy. Don't
yeah,
be that
yeah.
guy.
Sorry, boss.
Don't
Yeah.
be that. Okay, thank you. Now, Mara.
Wait, who were you talking to just then?
The
Doc?
demon guy from before. Come on. It's obviously what he's trying to do. Otherwise, he's gone insane.
Correct. I just forgot that I didn't know it could turn invisible. I haven't known you very long.
Oh. Okay, well, Mara, tell Brasnic about the freaking shadow.
I think Gok has learned something interesting, either an illusion or a summoning thing, but his shadow was waving at us and was like nodding its head independently of his. It was a very interesting trick.
I turn back to Gok. So you learned a trick.
No. Fine. I'll show it right now. He was on vacation. I've named him Jack. And this is gonna be pretty cool, okay? And I'm gonna summon Jack right now. Hunt. I don't know.
The shadow that's on the floor already. Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Was he handsome?
Gonna
Okay.
come over onto the table, I guess. Ah! There
So
we go.
you guys see, kind of out of the shadow of this wall, in the flickering torchlight, just in the corner, you see this hand kind of like start to stretch out. And then you see this shadow start to grow across this post here. And
Oh, shite, you've been possessed. It's that shadow thing from down below. Quick, kill it!
No! I told you, he was on vacation! Like I was telling you, Brasnic.
you
I
see
can't
it
believe I
instantly
believed
retract
you.
into the shadow.
Can't believe I believed you that shadows don't go on vacation. Because Jack was in the Shadowfell, hanging out, and then he came back to me when I summoned him. Can you believe that? From his vacation?
Ratul just drinks his ale very slowly as he eyes his shadow.
Yeah, Gok, he's not lying. Shadows don't go on vacations.
Well, Jack did, and then he came back, and we've been pretty good with each other, okay?
Right, so was your shadow alive any time before we went down into the dungeon where we were attacked by a shadow monster and you lost your shadow?
I mean, he must have been, because he found me again. Isn't that
Right.
amazing?
That doesn't track whatsoever.
What do you mean it doesn't track whatsoever? I think you're just mad that you're wrong, that shadows can't go on vacation, Brasnic.
You see the shadow behind him had come out again from this crevice. And during the course of this conversation, it's been shaking its head now and nodding its head affirmative at different points. And as Gok is saying that shadows can go on vacation, you see it nodding its head affirmatively again.
Don't know how you're doing it, but stop that,
What?
because I still don't believe it.
I'm doing what? Having my back to the shadow. I'm doing what?
Having your shadow back you up.
What do you mean? He's just agreeing with me because he was on vacation.
It's a
That's
very
affirmative.
interesting trick he does. I don't know how it's done. I'm really interested in how he does it.
Whoa, it's not a trick. Jack is his own person, okay?
Is it a shifting of where the light perspective is to try and have us see changes in the shadows? I don't know.
No,
It's
he's
fascinating.
Hello. Oi, you be a living person, or shadow, whatever the fuck.
What does Jack do right now? Thing that's directed.
He actually kind of pauses for a second and then shakes his head now.
So you're not a living shadow, person, or other entity.
He nods his head yes.
Right. Are you tied to Gok?
Nods his head yes.
Are you his actual shadow?
Nods yes.
Can you hook me up with a shadow of my own?
Whoa, Brasnic, your shadow has to go on vacation too.
You
And
actually
so-
see the shadow put both of its hands on its hips, like it's like kind of a seriously sort of a stance.
Wait, what?
He's
like it's-
going. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Brasnic?
Oi,
You see Jot kind of appear on the table.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't she sent by, like the Witch Queen or something, boss?
I don't know actually.
The what?
the hold up, there's... What now?
Oh, did I say too much, boss?
Oh my god, I can't believe you.
What?
No.
I mean, how am I supposed to know that they don't know about the Witch Queen? I'm just
No.
over here, for
Shush.
2 days. You've been with them
Be
for,
quiet.
months, and you're telling me that they don't even know about the... What,
Do I know what the Witch Queen is?
Oh my.
You definitely have heard about tales of ancient and powerful Fey gods that were around before the new gods, as it were. And you know that these are great and powerful creatures, some of elemental, some of different sorts of Fey creatures, but they are definitely of that like high magic sort of time on this world. And you know that legends of the Witch Queen tell of a very powerful goddess who was extremely beautiful and extremely proud, and but she also had a dark side to her when she was angered or when she was wronged. A hag side, if you will, where she became this terrible creature and would torment servants, mortals, anyone who came to offend her status or even her beauty. So this is definitely a being that you have heard.
Did
So, Gok, you want to explain this whole Witch Queen thing? I thought you were, like, a wizard like Mara or a sorcerer type of thing. Or
He's definitely
I mean,
a wizard.
I use magic like a wizard. No, I think that's. No, I'm a wizard. Uh, it's problem solved. Right there.
okay, as far as I know, from the hearings I have from my time with a certain guild, those who have made deals and people who have names like the witch, the witch lady or the witch queen or something, are called warlocks, and some of them are not so nice.
But
Actually,
I've
there's
been
like a
pretty.
negative connotation all around.
There are some very nice warlocks. They have all sorts of patrons. There's one in our guild who actually has a some sort of higher seraph of some sort that grants them power.
Oh, see. Warlocks are bad, Brasnic. So you can take that prejudice out of here.
I didn't say our warlocks were bad. I said people who make deals with creatures that have the name like Witch Queen are warlocks and not exactly the best around.
I think you were implying that. Hell.
I wasn't implying it. I specifically said what I meant. I don't imply things. I say them.
Well, we'll say, we're arguing semantics.
You see Jack behind you, kind of like making a claw with his hand, like he's ready to attack Brasnic if you need him to.
But no, we are not killing somebody because we're arguing with them. Okay,
But now
Jack?
your shadow Jack wants to kill me because I disagree. Jack, you didn't even answer the question if I wanted a shadow or not.
You see it kind of again put his hands like his fists on the hips, but this time it seems like an angry stance.
I mean, if you want to put a shadow of my own that I can name and can help me out, I'm all game for the Witch Queen thing, but it's concerning, okay?
I mean, you just want to serve the Witch Queen too over here?
No,
Why don't we all just join the circus? Let's just join this. We can all just serve the Witch
No,
Queen.
it's complicated. Look, think of it in this way. I signed a form, and then I turned it into the wrong person, and kinda, I got the wrong thing. I didn't get what I asked for. That makes any sense.
Really? You signed a form of some type of magical variety, because I assume this has to be some type of magical variety, and turned it into the wrong patron.
Yeah, think of it that way.
Yeah,
Wait,
you know,
I
I mean,
thought
like
you
the
were
red tape,
stupid.
that bureaucracy, you gotta
Well,
make sure you dot your I's and cross
think
your
of
T's
it
and
as
everything.
somebody learning the ropes for the first time, and they get a little bit enthusiastic about what they want, and then they pick the wrong. I think everybody's done that at one point or another. So I'm not the only oddity here, okay?
You're the major oddity here. You've got a demon familiar or minion, a shadow that's alive and apparently is mad at me for wanting my own for some reason.
Hey,
And
man,
last,
I ain't no familiar over here, I'm like a free demon
which makes
over here.
hey, that just makes it worse. It makes it more odd.
I mean, that one's the familiar.
And you see him for the first time point at the shadow.
What? Wait, did Jack just talk?
No, that was Jack. He pointed at
Oh.
the shadow and called it "You're familiar."
Oh.
Wait. Okay, look. You've got. This does not help. This does not help at all. Okay? You're not making yourself any less odd. You're just increasing it because apparently you've got a shadow familiar and a demon who's not your familiar but has chosen to apparently hang out with us.
I mean, you guys are kind of an interesting bunch over here, and I've been locked in a cave for 5,000 years. I mean, it's kind of an easy choice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Gok, when did you first become a servant of the Witch Queen?
It was. It was after this. After I got these robes, I kind of looked through a book that was kind of in a trash bin for magic. I don't know. Somebody, I guess, wanted to throw it out. I don't know why they throw away a perfectly good book. And I saw this magic thing, and it seemed pretty good. So I started practicing with it a bit, and I looked at the place where it's all patrons. You know, I kinda... Well, I thought I'd summon something else, and I kinda got the wrong person.
Can you read?
Yeah? I can read?
Wow.
And you can read Arcana?
Yeah? What is this? 20...
It's
Question?
very common for people to just know Arcana. Who taught it to you?
What do you mean who taught it? Me, of course. 'Cause
Magic
I'm a master.
Reading magic script is quite complicated and difficult, and usually it's not something you innately know.
Yeah. That's why I'm so good at it. Duh.
Next time when you start off on something like this, start with Arcana's a complicated language, and I'm surprised, it's hard to learn on your own. Because before, that sounded real fucked up, where you were just like, you can read? Especially after the comments you made about him being a goblin and everything. I'm just like, you're letting that racism just shine on through, ain't ya?
Yeah.
I'm just misinterpreting what I'm saying.
Honestly, I
you
think
need to
it's just
work on how
common
you're saying
alpha
shit.
elitism. Honestly.
You really gotta work on how you're saying things, lady. Because you come off as a giant prick.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of amazing considering, he knows me. That's like, wow. Woo.
Yeah,
I mean,
are you gonna take that from your apprentice over here?
yeah.
Don't you whip him or something when he's insubordinate like that?
Whoa.
Hey, Demon,
Okay.
I don't know what kinky shit you're into, but there'll be no whipping.
Go in the timeout zone, little guy, okay?
Yeah,
Okay?
I'm just saying, he
No,
just
timeout.
He was
That's
being
too
really mean
much.
to her, and you just gotta take him to the whip sometimes. You just gotta hit a guy.
No. Oh my god.
I have my own forms of punishment, especially my apprentice, who should be treating me with more respect.
Oh yeah, you like
Okay.
to break those fingers. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and, just break that
my
guy's
God.
fingers over there. Because
This
that'd be
will be
kind of
harder
fun to
than-
watch. I'm just saying.
I'm
that'd be
gonna cast Mage Hand and cover his mouth again, and start squeezing his face.
Okay.
It's not gonna be covered.
Hey, stop torturing my minion, okay? Stop it. Damn it.
Not exactly torturing him so much as just shortening him up.
I've had enough of his speech for right now.
Look, I was handling it fine. You don't need to put your... You don't need to be handsy with him.
Let's get it back on track. So, what does the Witch Queen exactly want from you? That she's accepted your contract and has hijacked your patronage.
I mean, she sees great power within me.
Great
And-
evil power?
No, just great power, not great evil power. She's great power within me. And, I'll spread the faith a little bit. It's a pretty good deal. I make her some stuff as patronage to her. It's not a sacrifice, okay? That's what you're asking. Is not.
So I don't have to worry about sneaking around and then all of a sudden seeing you, strangling a chicken or a cat or something and blood rituals and all that, right?
No, she already got her offering this evening, okay? So it's fine.
Hold up. Her offering this evening. So you have already strangled a cat? I want to understand this.
No, I didn't strangle a cat. I gave her a 5-star meal. That was the best bit of steak that you ever seen.
Okay, so sacrifice, your tributes or sacrifices don't have to be weird and bloody and desecrating the corpses of animals, right?
No, they don't have to be that way.
Do they work better if they are?
No, Just you have to make it good. You know, you don't give any cheap shit. You know, I mean, come on. You gotta give her a dead chicken that's like a cat bringing a dead mouse to you. You gotta cook that shit, okay? You gotta make it nice.
Hey, I just don't want to walk in one day if I need your help or something and find you slitting the throat of a chicken in a weird, goat skull or something like that, right?
Oh, a lot of
No.
rituals that do
Wow.
involve ritual there's like sacrifice is quite common in rituals, and some of them are quite powerful. I can show you some of them later, Brasnic.
I feel like
I
there
look-
should be some
Okay.
fan art of God fucking a goat skull. I'm just saying.
Oh my god. Okay. Wait, wasn't even taking it there, but okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, are you sure that she's not like a devil worshiper or something? If you want to
I'm
ask her that.
starting to sort of be scared of that because of what you just said, but alright.
No, they're generally certain like very powerful magics that do require a huge amount of energy, and you can sometimes bypass it by using life forces of small animals.
See, that's the part that
Okay.
scares me.
That's like a murder thing, man. First it's small animals, and then it's human beings, okay?
Yeah,
I mean, you tortured a guy. So.
It's a gateway. I think it's a gateway.
Gok's a
Gateway
twisted
drug right
creature.
there. Woof.
Humanoids are too complicated to perform most sacrifices on for rituals. It's quite difficult to attune your circles to them.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I like this chick more and more every time she says something.
Not that I would have ever do that. Those are quite terrible spells that are well beyond anything anyone ever needs to perform. There are much more
believe her.
manners of dealing with most problems.
I'm pretty
She
sure you
sounds
say
sincere.
this out of experience.
I mean, like, are you looking for like a familiar over here? Because, you know, I think we could do like great things together.
I'm gonna.
Hey, you're my minion. What the hell? The
No,
nine hell.
no, little imp. I do not need you.
I mean, I have a closet, but, you know, whatever.
Okay, so to be clear, it's okay. You had your thing. You've got the witch queen or whatever on your side. As long as you're not doing anything evil with it, I'm okay with it. It's just it's concerning when you all of a sudden learn that someone is backed by someone whose name is the witch queen. Sorry, but witches have a negative connotation to them more often than not. Like the word witch. Okay, I've some of the nice ladies out there who are witches have heard them called Wiccans, which is much nicer than a witch. The witch is, when you hear witch, all you think is the olden days where some people burn people at stakes. Because it's happened. It's in the history books.
Okay. Well, she's a Wiccan. She's a very beautiful, powerful, independent woman who is a great and humble host and is great and loving to all that is natural and holy. I'm gonna say that.
Mara, is this true?
Anyone want to roll insight check on that?
Oh, we all want to.
Okay, I'm gonna
Go ahead.
roll
Roll that,
something.
Yeah,
So
roll whatever you feel like there, Gok.
Okay.
Oh boy.
That's appropriate, honestly.
It's
That's
pretty
very
much right on point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you guys can all pretty much just tell that Gok is not exactly being truthful about his boss's intentions.
well, from what I recall, the Witch Queen has two aspects. There is the beautifully nice, kind, and amazingly powerful Witch Queen, and then there's the reflection almost of a twisted, reminiscent of a hag, not necessarily in power, much more powerful than a hag, infinitely more powerful, but
What you mean is that she changes into a different form to scare away those nasty villains, and then she has a true form of beauty. Yes.
your salesman pitch doesn't work on us at all the time we spent with you. Okay.
It's not a salesman's pitch. It's so I don't get molested later. Okay. I mean, it's fine. You mean she's great? A great,
It's
great
quite
god.
that you're able to commune with such a powerful being. Not many people get that chance or can live through such an experience. It's fascinating.
Well, apparently, if he says the wrong thing, he might still live, but he might not exactly be whole. As I do like the finger through the circle motion.
You kind of see the shadow behind Gok, like he's doing that motion where he's like chewing on his fingernails, like
No.
he's super scared.
No, stop that. Okay. Stop that right now.
Oh, I really want my own Jack Shadow now. Like, honestly.
Okay.
Seems
Look,
like a fantastic familiar. Whew.
look, Jack. I gotta teach you to not do that. Okay? That's just. It's not appropriate.
He stands up straight and salutes you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. That's. Look. She's a very nice, beautiful woman who is great and fantastic.
Shadow shakes
She's
his
done
head no,
nothing
very,
wrong.
Very hard.
Yep. She's done nothing wrong. And she's fine.
Shadow's still
saying,
shaking his
yeah.
head no.
You haven't been, tainted.
She has done nothing wrong, and she is a great, great person.
I understand you. I'm gonna be nodding. I understand you.
You see
Okay.
Jack Shadow facepalm.
I'm gonna mutter all these squares make a circle repeatedly. Yes.
Like, you can see, I'm pretty much just fucking with Gok right now.
Yeah.
Because he said the molested comment. I'm just...
Yeah.
So the only other piece of information was
Okay.
the bit about the mine. Did you guys want to discuss that at all, or? I feel like this is actually probably a good place to call it for the night. It is
Really?
after
This is the
midnight.
good place? Feels like it's good to call
Well,
it
you
a night.
know, we're just kind of there's no bombs to drop. So when we do pick up next week, we will be diving into the Forge of Fury, and that is going to be the next adventure on our list of things to do here. It should be an interesting one for sure. There are lots of ties for these characters going into this, so I'll be excited to get that going. So definitely get geared up for that. We'll be heading through the portal and into the next step next week. So, you guys, thank you again for coming and playing some D&D here. I know I had a good time. Just kind of winging it tonight. It was a lot of fun though, and I look forward to getting back on track, getting into the next adventure. So thanks again to anyone that might have been watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the Fireside Tales with me. That's an Indigo guy. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
I feel bad because I waved for no good reason when you can't see me.